Hi there, smart monks, and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. This is my little platform where I turn struggling math students into maths masters, and I post videos weekly, so subscribe and turn on the notification button if you want to know when I post any new videos. So grade 12s, I know it's been a while since I posted a video for Maths Lit, and what I can tell you is that I have quite a few coming up for you to help you prepare, because I know your final exams are coming up. So you can keep a lookout for that. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you about tiling and the cost of tiling. This was a requested video, so hopefully you will find it helpful. If you are interested in any of the revision classes that I plan to have just before the prelim and final exams, please just send me an email to mathsmonkeyhelp@gmail.com, and in the description of your email, just write revision classes 2024 or whatever year you are watching this video in, and I will send you all the information you need to know about joining those classes. Right, so without further ado, let's jump into this video. Okay, so when we are dealing with tiling and cost, there's really two thinking streams you need to apply. The first stream is all of the sections that involves measurement. So what is the size of the tile? Meters, centimeters. What is the size of the area that we're choosing to tile or that we are being asked to tile? How much cement do we need in liters or in grams? All of that is sort of falling around the tiling section, right? Then we have the cost section where we're looking at what does it cost us to do the tiling job. And this is where you actually have to apply your finance knowledge, right? Making sure you understand the budget. Do you have enough for the job? Making sure that you understand the cost for each different resource or each different material or the different materials that you will need and the cost of that. So when we are applying these questions, or when we are doing these questions, we have to apply these two thinking brains. All of our rules that is governed by our measurement section, as well as thinking finance and what is the cost and budget for it. Right, so before I start, I just want to make sure that we sort of all have the same understanding of the different elements that goes into tiling, so that when we actually do the calculations that we're all on the same page. Now, many of you may know most of these elements that I'm about to share with you now, but I just want to go over it before we actually start. Right, so when we think of tiles is usually a rectangle or square-shaped hard material used to cover flooring and walls, and I've given you two pictures here to show you the example. So this on the right here is what tiles actually look like, which I'm pretty sure you know. What you may not know, because you might not have bought tiles before, but tiles are sold in packs. So you can't go to a shop and buy one tile. You generally need multiple tiles, and tiles are generally sold in large packs. So a pack of 5 or a pack of 10. And so you have to take that into consideration when you're applying your costs. Then, something you also may not know is that tile cement is the medium that's used to secure the tile down on a surface. So consider tile cement as your tile glue. This is what's going to glue your tile on whatever specific surface, right? So that is tile cement. Then we also have grout. So grout is the medium that's actually put in between the tiles once the tiles have been glued down, and this sort of solidifies the spacing in between the tiles. Okay, so when you are thinking of tiling, you have to take all of these things into consideration, that you actually need the tiles and that the tiles are sold in packs. Then you need tile cement as well as grout, right? So it's not just a situation of I buy tiles and I can just then put the tiles up without needing anything else, right? Then, important, what you also may not know is that both tile cement and grout is really bought in a powder form, right? And then when we mix that powdered form with water, that sort of creates sort of the sticky substance that will then be either placed on the wall if it's the tile cement, or between the tiles if it's the grout, right? These are first soft once you mix the water and the powder, and then over time it gets hardened to the point where you then either have to like literally knock it off if you want to get the tile to come off, right? So it starts off as a powder, you mix it, and then it makes it palpable, it makes it soft enough for you to actually add it on the surfaces to put the tiles down or between the tiles, and then over time it hardens, right? Then when you are doing tile calculations, it's important to note that we are always interested in the surface area. So the surface can be a wall, the surface can be a patio, the surface area can be a lounge floor. We are interested in knowing what is the surface area that we are going to be tiling, and then we'll need to work out how many tiles we actually need for that specific surface. Right, so this is really just the fundamental understanding that you need to have so that you can apply this, or you actually can understand the different terminology used when questions are being asked. Now that we're all on the same page on that, let's work through a question. So I've chosen one question from a past paper, and I don't necessarily like to teach you how to answer this specific question or a specific question because they never ask the same questions in exams. However, I'm going to use this question to teach you how to apply your skills and how to answer things so that when you are asked similar questions, you can then apply your knowledge on that. Okay, so first thing I want to advise you is whenever you get a question, always read through all the information that's given to you first and then read the questions. Never ever read the questions first and then try and find the answers in the information that's given, because then you are most likely to miss some important information. Okay, so let's read through this example together. Tsecho also intends tiling the dining room and lounge floors. The dimension of the lounge floor is 4 meters by 5 meters, and the dining room is 3 meters by 4 meters. Then they give you the information and costs. Tsecho intends using tiles that are 35 centimeters by 35 centimeters. One box of 4 tiles costs 143 Rand and 84 cents. Tile cement costs 99 Rand and 90 per 20 kilogram bag, which covers 3 meters squared. She needs 4 bags of tile grout at 89 and 90 per 5 kg bag. The cost of labor is 2,500, and Tsecho's total budget for the tiling project is 15,000 Rand. Now that I've actually read all the information, I then know what will be applicable when I answer the questions. So let's read through the first question. Show that the total floor area to be tiled is 32 meters squared. Okay, so let's just give you a picture of what the spaces look like. So they say here in the beginning the dimension of the lounge floor is 4 by 5, so this would be the lounge floor, and then the dining room floor is 3 by 4. So these two together is what we need to tile. Now if we notice that both of these are rectangle, and if you want to find out the area of this, we will then say length times breadth, and then length times breadth, and add these together. Okay, so this again ultimately tells us what we are going to be tiling. So let's see. Total area then is equal to the area of the lounge plus the area of the dining room table. Table of the dining room. So here we have area of the lounge, which I say is 4 and 5. So it's 4 multiplied by 5, which is length times breadth, plus the area of the dining room, which is 3 multiplied by 4. Simplified individually, this will give me 20 and 12. And then if I add these together, I have now answered the question by showing that the total floor area is 32 meters squared. Okay, so this is now just applying your knowledge of area and making sure that you know that when we're calculating area, our units is always squared. Fine, now let's look at question number 2. So this is all based on the same information. We're just looking at the different questions of this, right? So it says determine how many boxes of tiles Tshego will need if an extra 10% of the number of tiles must be added for cutting and breakages. Now, I just want to add to make sure that you know this, that when we are tiling, like you know in this example, we've got rectangle spaces, right? And our tiles are squares, right? Because they say it's 35 centimeters by 35 centimeters. So when you are placing these squares down, sometimes you'll place them and they will move along a specific area, and then you'll see that when you get to the end that there isn't specifically a space for another full tile, so you need to cut that tile, right? So a lot of the times you have to take 10% extra so that you can take into consideration the tiles that you actually need to cut, okay? Also, tiles can break while you are busy. So when they say they want you to buy 10% extra, that means we're taking into consideration that some tiles might break during the installation process, or when we cut it, we might then not actually be able to have enough because that piece that we've cut off might not perfectly fit in the next row, perhaps that we might need to place that specific tile. Right, so when we're reading this question, we are interested in finding out how many tiles. Okay, so they say determine how many boxes, but firstly you have to first find out, okay, how many tiles do I need plus the 10%, and then now that I have the amount of tiles, I then can work out, okay, so how many boxes is going to give me that total. Right, so let's go through the information that we're going to use. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take note that we now know that our total area that we need to tile is 32 meters squared, right? Fine. Then we look at what is the area of one tile, right? So that we can say the big area divided by one tile will tell us ultimately how many tiles we need. So one tile is 35 centimeters by 35 centimeters, but because our total area is in meters, remember I said you have to apply all your measurement rules, and we only do calculations when units are the same, right? Like if they're all meters or they're all centimeters. So here when we're calculating the area, we can convert this centimeters to meters by saying 35 divided by 100 will give us 0.35 meters. Right, so this is the meters for, that is the value that we will use when calculating the area. So we're going to go 0.35 meters times 0.35 meters. And so the area of one tile is 0.1225 meters squared. Right, so what do we have? We have the area of the entire space we're going to tile, which we calculated in number 1. Then we have the area of one tile, right? So in order to find out how many tiles we need, we take the area of the whole surface and divide it by the area of the one tile, making sure that both of the units are the same. So here we've got 32, which is the total area, divided by one tile, and you'll see here that we end up with 2.61.22. Now obviously we can't buy a 0.22 tile, so we are going to round this up, because if we round it down, we won't get enough. We won't have enough tiles. Remember, the question papers always say round off to the context of the question. So in this case, we will need 262 tiles. But they say we have to add 10% so that we can actually have enough in case any of them break or in case any of them need to be cut. So what we do is we then say 262 plus 10% of 262, and we end up with 288.20, which then rounded up again for the same reason as I told you before. We end up needing 289 tiles. So that is how many tiles we need for both the floor, lounge floor, and the dining room floor. But the question asks determine how many boxes, right? So if we need 289 tiles and the tiles are sold in boxes of 4, then all you need to do is you need to take the 289 and divide it by the 4. And that will tell us how many boxes we need, right? So that will give us 72.25. And again, all of this I'm rounding up so that I always make sure that I have enough. So essentially for this whole project, I'm going to need 73 boxes of 4. Because if I buy 73 boxes of 4, I end up having enough for my area that I like to tile, that Tsecho would like to tile. Okay, right, let's move over to the last question. Right, so in question number 1, we looked at the area. In question number 2, we looked at the tiles. Now question number 3 asks the following. Show by means of calculation if Tsecho's budget is enough to finish the tiling project. So what we need to do now is we need to work out all the different costs that this entire project includes and see if his 15,000, which is given in the information, will be enough. Right, so let's move through it. So firstly, we know that we learned that the number of tiles, right, we need is 73, right? That's the amount of boxes. And in the information given, it's 143.84 cents per box. So in total, for the tiles alone, is 10,532. Okay. Then, what is the next thing they tell us we need? We need tile cement, right? So as I explained in the beginning, this is sort of the glue that puts the tile against the surface that we would like to paint. And it says here that tile cement costs 99 Rand per 20 kg bag, which covers 3 meters squared, right? So one bag covers 3 meters squared, and we need to cover, based off of question number 1, if we go back, we need to cover a total area of 32. Okay, so if I then go and I say, okay, 32 is what we need to cover, divided by the 3 meters. So this, both of these are in meters squared. This is my total area we need to cover, and this is how many meters one bag covers. So if I take this divided by the 3, then it ends up, or then it shows that I need 10.6 bags, and they don't sell a 0.6 bag, so we'll then need 11 20 kg bags. Now that we know how many kg bags we need, we then just say 11 multiplied by the cost, which is 99.90 per bag, and therefore the cement is 1,098.90 cents. Okay, then it says she needs 4 bags. I've been working with a he for the entire time, guys. I apologize. So it says here that she needs 4 bags of tile grout at 89.90 per 5 kg bag. So they're telling you how many bags, that you need 4, and it's 89.90. So now I take 4 and just multiply it by the 89.90, and that will then give me the cost of the grout, which is 359.60 cents. Then the last cost here that they mentioned in the question is the cost of labor, which is 2,500. Right, so cost of labor, 2,500. No extra calculation required then. Okay, so now we have to work out what is our total cost. So we're going to add all of these values that we have together for the tile, the cement, the grout, and the labor. And our total costs, based off of all the information that they've given us, is 14,458.82 cents. Right, so here we actually have to answer the question, does Tsecho have enough? If she has 15,000, it is enough because the total cost is only 14,458.82 cents. Okay, so what I want you to sort of take away from this example is that 1, it is important when working with measurement that you only do calculations when units are the same. So I never add something that's in meters to something that's in centimeters without converting one of them so that both of their units are the same, right? So I can only add centimeters plus centimeters or meters plus meters. When I'm calculating the amount of tiles, I'm always interested in what is my total surface area that I plan on tiling divided by the size of one tile. That will generally give you how many tiles you will need. Obviously, the question will tell you, you never assume that it's just 10% for breakage. The question will tell you to add that. If they don't add it, right? Don't add it yourself if that isn't included in the question. And then also when you're working with cost, remember to take into consideration what is the area that you need, what is the area you are tiling, how much of each item do you need, and then what is the cost. And then the cost will then be multiplied by whatever it is that you need. Right, so that is sort of the thinking, and that is how you must approach tiling and cost questions. Alright, great pals, there's that video. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate the thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments or recommendations for future videos, you can add that in the comment section below. If you are interested again in any of the revision classes that I have, you can email mathsmonkeyhelp@gmail.com with the email title Revision Class 2024 or whatever year you are watching this video in, and I will share all the information you need to know to join those classes. Right, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!